Hi everyone, today I'm going to be reading a new release of a book called I Am Leonardo Da Vinci. Author Brad Meltzer, illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos. And why am I reading this? Because, well, today is the new release of this book and I got it on Kindle. So I am Leonardo da Vinci. I am Leonardo da Vinci. I was born in Italy in a small town called Vinci. People think Da Vinci is my last name, but it's just where I'm from. In Italian, Da Vinci means from Vinci. Back in the 1400s, Italy was one of the most exciting places to live. Something called Renaissance was happening, and people started using art, science, architecture, and even politics to see things in brand new ways. What are you looking at, Leonardo? Everything. Look at that building. Look at these carvings. Look at these silks. Look at those paintings. As a young boy, I went hiking one day and I found this amazing cave. I wanted to know what was inside. Whoa! First I tried peeking in, but the cave was too dark. I bent the other way, but I still couldn't see anything. The closer I looked, the darker it seemed, like the shadows themselves would swallow me whole. Right there I felt two things, fear and desire, because I really wanted to know what was in there. So he was determined to find out. Standing at the cave, I made my decision. If you want to learn something new, you have to follow your curiosity. The rewards are unimaginable. Whoa! I found a whale fossil embedded in the wall. To see a mighty creature like that, I realized how powerful nature can be. Back then, the richest kids with the proper background went to the best schools. I didn't. At this Abracus school, I learned some math, but mostly I was self-taught. By teaching myself, I was more open to new experiences and ideas. As a result, I didn't think like everyone else. I even didn't write like everyone else. I was left-handed, which back then was considered weird and odd. Use a mirror to read it. It may seem like a secret code, but it wasn't just a way to keep the ink from smudging, a common practice back then. I wasn't the best student. I'd easily get distracted and bored unless I was doing something creative, like art. Whoa, you drew that? I did. You're pretty good. I still have a lot to learn. When I was 14, my father showed some of my drawings to one of the best local artists, Andrea del Vercchio. I became his apprentice, which is a fancy way of saying he became my teacher. Your son drew that? He did. Pretty good, huh? I'm astonished. He taught me how to paint, draw and sculpt from models, and work with machinery on large projects. Most important in Vercchio's work, there were people talking about anatomy, geometry, architecture, and antiquitos. Plus, there were books on every subject. You can put a circle inside a square like this. Whoa. To make it realistic, I used more than paint. It took real body parts from lizards, snakes, bats, crickets, grasshoppers, and even butterflies and attached them piece by piece. Looks real, right? The smell was so bad, my father kept the shield and bought a new one for the client. What's that smell? Art! It wasn't my best work. The shield did sell and eventually owned by the Duke of Milan. You don't become an artist overnight. It takes practice and patience, drawing things over and over. Again, draw it again. In my art, I wanted things to look like they did in real life. So I practiced drawing drapes with plenty of folds, and shadows. The key was mastering this. 1. Chiaroscuro, which means light/dark in Italian, and explains how I use the light to make and shading to make things look real. And 2. Sfumatu, which means making the lines blurry so it looks even more realistic. If you do it again right, you get this. Ta-da! That is very realistic. Was I perfect? Not at all. I get so distracted, sometimes I felt alone, that I didn't finish many of my paintings. And when I did finish, I didn't think the work was very good. Another bad one. You really think that is bad? No matter what I was working on, I'd carefully examine each subject, studying every detail. I was especially interested in birds. Look how a bird's wings are more curved at the front. Is that how they fly? What do their tails do? Is that how they steer? He really looks closely at things, doesn't he? My great strengths were curiosity and observation. Everything I saw I put in my notebooks. Look at the dragonfly. When it flies, its front wings are higher and its rear wings are lower. He really wants to learn about flying, doesn't he? I wanted to learn about everything. Each day was an opportunity to observe something new. I filled notebooks with drawings, ideas, art, and anything else I found interesting, including long lists of things I wanted to do. What is yawning? How did I find the answers? By observing every detail. At the top of Mount Rosa, I figure out why the sky is blue. It's like reflecting off particles in the air. The more questions you ask, the more answers you'll find. Over time, in addition to being an artist, I became an architect. This was a real bridge I designed, that one. And an engineer. Accurate and precise maps. Who wants to take a trip? We've got these things called roads. He invented the crank as well to move stuff, and a musician. I designed a new instrument, a cross between an organ and violin, organista, which is a really fun thing to say. A scientist. To understand our bodies, I studied making bones and organs with detailed drawings. By looking at how water flows on these sides out of a river, I figured out how the heart works and how it pumps. Did you know there is a heart the heart is a muscle? And a dentist. By studying teeth, I was a pioneer of dentistry. Say ah. Wait, did I mention I was a scientist? Yes. Look at this human arm. When it bends just right, it resembles a bird's wing. Isn't that beautiful? And of course, I was also an inventor. Every piece of information led to new breakthroughs. Check out my designs. The tank, the submarine, scuba gear, a hang glider, an early try at a helicopter. This tent covered with cloth is an early parachute, even though no one had ever flown before. And speaking of flying, check out these wing based on bats. Whoa! What are you doing now? Trying to figure out how the face works. Which your muscles open your eyes. Which one raise your brows, and which ones create the perfect smile. It worked. This is my most famous painting, the Mona Lisa. This looks like the real scene where the picture was taken, because it probably is. Yep, it is. I worked on it for 16 years, carrying it with me until the day I died. For over a decade, I repainted, trying to fill it with for every amazing new thing I learned about humans and nature. Today, people wonder who she was. She wasn't anyone famous. She was just like the rest of us, ordinary and amazing, full of mysteries and questions, just like the world around us. In my life, people call me a genius, a renaissance man. They also said I was weird and odd. That's not a bad thing. Nothing amazing happens by thinking like everyone else. Look closely at nature. No two trees are the same. No two humans are either. That means no one will ever see the world as you do. That's not weird or odd. It's beautiful. To do what hasn't been done before. Build what hasn't been built before. When you do, no one will be able to look away. Today, there are 7,200 pages of Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks, filled in with ideas about art, flight, geology, botany, anatomy, biology, and mechanics. Back in 1994, Bill Gates bought one of the notebooks for $30 million. Throughout his life, Leonardo was, they crossed out, obsessed with flight. He loved birds so much, he'd buy them and immediately set them free. The very last thing Leonardo wrote in his notebook was a math problem. He left it unfinished and wrote etc. because the soup is getting cold. Some of his ideas didn't become realities for another 500 years. His theories on the human heart were finally proven right in the 1960s. And his wings, they inspired Bill Finger and Bob Canner's design for Batman. It's true, without Leonardo da Vinci, there would be no Batman. That's amazing. I loved many things. Whatever your passions are, follow them all. Here he is, there's Batman. Sometimes crazy ideas are the best ideas, even the ones that fail. My wings didn't help me fly. My scuba gear didn't let me breathe underwater. My pre-helicopter never took off. But one time, as technology and innovation caught up with my ideas, and every single one of them worked. Stay curious, ask questions, and look closely, and always be daring. I am Leonardo da Vinci, and I know that new ideas are beautiful. So this is Leonardo da Vinci, The Last Supper, 1495. Here's a timeline. Wisdom is the sentence and truly dependable wealth and mind. Leonardo da Vinci. This is him. Tourists photographing the Mona Lisa in Louvre. Vinci, Italy, today. Self-portrait in Chalk, age 50. I am Leonardo da Vinci. I know that new ideas are beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, comment your opinion, and give a thumbs up. I'll see you in our next video. Bye!